Ngiyabulisa kuni bameli nanabukeli emakhaya. Welcome to Unmasking African Truths. I am your host, Upalesa. I come from an organization called the African Hidden Voices. African Hidden Voices is a research institution that aims to unmask and reveal the true practices, the true teachings, and the true ways of the African indigenous people. We always strive to assist you, Mamelu, to gain a better understanding of your African indigenous spirituality. To catch our previous conversations, please do go to YouTube channel here too, African Hidden Voices. Please do leave a comment, like, and we love hearing from you. Namhlanje sidiscussa topic the concept of belief in in indigenous Africa. Africans kakhulukazi namhlanje are moving away from a mainstream religion and are following more indlela zamandulo zo khokho babo. So then it begs the question, is the belief that is spoken about or preached about in religious organizations up in Africa the same as that of the ancient people, or rather the ancient Africans? And also, how do spiritual institutions, particularly the Revelation Spiritual Home, define belief? As always, andambi ndedwa namba nayo imboni uDr. Uzwilezwe Mkhatebe, a spiritually verified African indigenous spiritual guide, a qualified theologian and a qualified herbalist. Before ndidlulisela kuyo imboni, I am going to share with you a study that was done, that was Ikota Umbiti on the beliefs of the African people. The essence of African traditional religion. It was done by Upolonius Ikechukwe Odozo. Uti Umbiti, a part of this belief in the moral and religious order is belief in the invisible universe, which consists of divinities, spirits, and ancestors, the living dead. These act as God's associates, assistants, and mediators, and they're directly involved in human affairs. Human beings maintain active and real relationships with the spiritual world, especially with the living dead. Through offerings, sacrifices, and prayers, these act as a link between God and the human community. There is also a mystical order in the universe. Africans believe in the existence of a mystical, invisible, hidden spiritual power in the universe. This power originates from God, but is possessed hierarchically by divinities, spirits, and the living dead, and it is available to some people in various degrees. This is a universal belief among Africans. Those to whom this power is accessible can use it for good, such as healing, rainmaking, or divination, while others can use it for harm through magic, witchcraft, and sorcery. This power is not accessible to everyone, and in most cases, it is inborn, but the person has to learn how to use it, says Umbiti. Umbiti Mamamele Makhaya, we know what he is a scholar, but he was a religious person, whom they practice a religion. It would then make it natural what Ilende described Umbiti as the belief of Abantu Base Africa. Is it truly authentic? And as I've always explained, Tina as a research institution, we always want endorsement yayo imboni uDr. Uzwilezwe Mkhatebe ngoba nguye umuntu o-understandayo izinto zikamoya from an African indigenous perspective. So tata, lento echazwa nguMbiti as the belief of the African indigenous people, is it the belief, is it true? Lento ebhalwe nguMbiti yinyani na about the African indigenous people?
Yeah, masibingelele bobonke abantu abakhona. Yeah, Umbiti in terms of Masiaki scholars, of course, is respected kakhulu in Africa, probably even abroad, but kakhulu in Africa he is respected. And as you have explained, what's important to understand Umbiti is that Umbiti ngumuntu omnyama, but he was a religious person. He was a religious person. Ebengalandeli inkolo yakwantu, was not following African indigenous spirituality. But I think why you would find many scholars quote him, even ourselves, it's because of at least he tried his best to be neutral. My hamba ayokwenza field work in terms of research about African beliefs. He tries. You can see kumsebenzi wakhe he tries to be neutral. He tries to say, this is what I saw, and this is what I gathered. Of course, the problem is language yakhe. Remember, in belief system, he is religious. Uzawufaka items azaziyo kwi-religion yakhe, kwi-African things. Yabo nayi problem. That's why you find African religion uthola lamagama njalo, which ayikho lonto. So, how do we describe then belief in terms of in the African spiritual context? Now, I thought about this, ukuthi actually, in the African spiritual context, we don't really believe. Truly speaking, it's just, I think, el gama vele ukhumbule, li common in our mind, belief. Even in to call, we always refer to this name. But it's we don't believe, we know. We know. And I think for umbukeli noma umlaleli understand ukuthi ngithini. Example, let me use lamanzi la. If this is spirit, kumoya lo. Umuphi umoya? Angenza example yedlozi. Ibe easier, which everyone at least is familiar with. Asithi idlozi leli. Idlozi umoya ngithi. Leli dlozi leli naleli dlozi moya. Spirit. Idlozi leli liyalibona leli. Ngoba umoya liyalibona leli dlozi. Liyazi ukuthi leli dlozi likhona, liyalibona because umoya ubona omnye umoya. Now, you can't say leli dlozi liyakholelwa kuleli dlozi. Likholwa kanjani into eliyibonayo? So, sithi leli dlozi liyalibona leli dlozi. So sithi leli dlozi liyalazi leli dlozi. And then we talk about umdali, Qamata, Vilnqangi, Mwari, Mudimo, God, whatever name you want to give. The scholar Mbiti here says the supreme, the supernatural, all the names that we've given to this higher being and higher spirit. Again, we Africans would not call it what we believe in. Siyakholelwa kumdali. Sikholwa kanjani because imoya yethu umoya nathi. Now this bottle umoya, not idlozi umoya. Umoya wam now would know other spirits and can see other spirits. So umoya wam will know ukuthi ukhona umdali. By the way, what testifies in a human being about the existence of umdali? It's not actually your mind. It is your spirit that testifies. Ikhona lento umoya wakho ayaziyo wena ungayazi. Mangithi wena in this case umoya ngithi, but when I say wena I mean your mind. Let me be clear. Mind yakho that it does not know. Your spirit knows something that your mind does not know. Khona lento. Another good example of that ifanele kukho lento abantu mayingena endaweni engakho right, not umuntu, not imboni, not umthandazi, not isangoma, an ordinary person without these gifts. Kodwa athi kuyish irongo la ndawo. Why? Ino lezami ziyezama. Yini enza ino lezakho zime? It's just that your physical eyes azibonanga that particular spirit, and your mind then does not know that there's a spirit. But umoya wakho saw the spirit. That's why inwele zakho zima when there was something wrong. Zima because umoya wakho wona saw that there's a spirit here. Umoya wona saw. Umoya wakho saw ukuthi khona omnye umoya ukhoyo. And because umoya wakho for now attached to your flesh. So it senses. So umoya wakho do affect your physical senses. That is your mind and your heart and everything. Your spirit senses, they do affect your physical senses. That's why ngamehlo awubonanga next la kule room. Kodwa inwele zama wezwe ikhona into wrong la. Yini into ebonile? Amehlo akawabonanga. Umqondo wakho did not, the mind will react to what the eyes have seen. Akhondo ibonile, mind yakho ayinawuthi kunento la. But ilanguage yakho izothini? Ngiyakholela ukuthi khona umoya wrong la. Why do you believe? Because the mind must believe it. It does not know, is not sure. But if feeling yakho ithi kuyikhona into wrong, it is your spirit. Umoya wakho wona, if umoya wakho ebekwazi uma ayiwana khuluma bezo no ukhona umoya othize la ngiwubonile nangu mekhoneni undlulile ngumoya wani isibhoko yini. Umoya wakho wona can say so. Spirit is spirit. Therefore, we in Africa we don't use the word belief actually because we know. Umoya knows. And ngoba in Africa we are spiritual people. Therefore, masikhuluma into zomoya, asikhulumi ngebelief, sikhuluma ngokwazi ukuthi ukhona umvelnqangi. Angikholela ukuthi umvelnqangi ukhona. Umvelnqangi ukhona. Isithunywa sikhona, angikholela ukuthi isithunywa sikhona. I don't believe isithunywa sikhona. Sikhona isithunywa. Idlozi likhona. angikholelwa ukuthi idlozi likhona. Likhona idlozi. Now, if we look at belief, belief, where does belief come from? Belief comes from the mind. Belief ayiphumi kumoya wakho. Belief iphuma mind. It's the mind that believes. And if you look at eyona explanation namhlanje, even abantu abangasonti, kodwa makumele bayichaze explanation yokusonta, bazawuquota from religious texts. Because if you look out there, eyona explanation esiyaziyo, in short and precise, about a belief comes from a religion. In this case, we are more familiar to Christianity. It is the Christianity religion, the Christian scripture. It is a Christian scripture, the Bible. It defines a belief. Now, here is my question. If it is the Christian Bible that defines belief, was the Christian Bible part of us as Africans? No. Ifigile la. Before ifike, how come basing a belief? That is why when colonizers come, colonizers are also religious people, missionaries. When they come, bathi sithola abayedeni lapho. Yabona? Now, how do they define ubuhedeni? They define a non-believer. You see the word non-believer. What does non-believer mean? There's shown non-believer. We found people who did not believe. You see? So, maybe masibheka, especially masi approach colonization, see approach the political context in the context, political context, and in the context of African consciousness and activism and whatever the case. Sibuka lento ukuthi hayi laba abantu laba bafika bathi asikholwa thina banamanga besikholwa. No, it's true. They are actually telling the truth that we found non-believers because we were non-believers. So for me, ubuhedeni ayisosithuko. Yes, in the context they give it basithuka, but for me, I think a promotion is tshela ngokhokho bethu ukuthi vele we are not believers thina, we know things. And so they say sithola abahedeni non-believers. And that's why mawungayanga esontweni ungakholelwa ki religion yabo dala bekuthiwa ungumhedeni. Yini umhedeni? Non-believer. That's why kuzo anti-Christ. Non-believer. Truly, okhokho bethu did not believe. Because when they arrived, they asked them these questions. Remember, there were conversations. Do you guys believe in? And abantu bethu, okhokho said, no, asikholelwa thina siyazi ukuthi uqamatha ukhona. Indlela zethu ukuphila yilezi. It was spirituality. They knew things. You know, they knew. They did not believe in things. So, if belief versus knowing. Knowing, belief is the mind. That's why today you believe, tomorrow you don't believe. But spirit knows. And what you know, you can't not know. Into yazi uyayazi. And that's why okhokho bethu died for what they knew. Babeshintshwa from knowing to believing. And when they were refusing to believe in what they were being taught because they knew, they were killed. But they died for that, you see. They died for that because you can't not know what you know. What I know. What is this is water. You can't ask me 10 minutes after ukuthi yini le ngithi angiyazi. But belief changes always. It changes always. And that's why if you look at kwayona religion, it has changed over the years. Abantu abayazi lonto kwa i-texts zakhona ne-translation. Bacabanga ukuthi lenta le religion abakuyo ne-texts zabo kwasekuqaleni komhlaba zazinjalo. It's not like that. Mazibhalwa zazingakho njalo. And also religious texts also lost a lot of what the original text bezithi ezikhoyo today don't really because of a lot was lost in translation. Now mlaleli mbukeli ngikhuluma ngehistory facts ngikhuluma ngombono. They were lost in translation. So if belief changes, Lastly, look at our religious institution. Yabona over the years zama evolve nesikhathi. There are certain things, I just don't want to be specific, bebengazi accept in the church. Kodwa these days, kwenziwani? Kuyashintsha language, kuthiwa manje ziya-acceptwa, and because we have to accept life. Now, here's the question. If you are telling me about into yakamdali spiritually, inje, You can't be chopping and changing land. Because then when did you consult umdali? Umfonele or SMS? Because how are you changing into OT? Religion changes. And I think maybe what we need to do, you guys, as Hidden Voice, you must go and research the changes in religion so that abalaleli bethu you can see what you are talking facts. It changes because the belief changes. But what you know does not change.
Sibonga kakhulu Tata for that very rich explanation and distinction. From what Imboni has said, iyabonakala ukuthi he who knows has more power than the one who believes. Thank you so much for joining us. Please ujoyisa ke kule veki ezayo. Siyabulela.
Prophet